Hi out there. This is Jason Grabowski, and in this video, we're going to continue on with our discussion about how to apply weather delays to our project schedule. If you recall, in part one of this two-part series, we had talked about weather delays that impact the entire project. We went into our calendar, we set a non-workday, an inclement weather day on our project calendar, and then that delay was impacting the entire project. Now, we've got just a subset of our tasks that we want to affect with a weather delay. And a perfect example of where this scenario might come into play is on construction projects. In construction projects, you might have tasks going on within the facility that aren't impacted by the weather. Then you might have outside tasks going on that are impacted by the weather. So if it rains, the outside tasks cannot get performed, but the inside tasks can. In doing so, like I said, we had gone to this calendar here and we had inserted a non-workday here that covered the weather delay. Similar to this, what we have to do is we've got to create a new calendar that we're going to assign just to the tasks that are going on outside. And we're going to call this new calendar Outside Calendar. The name implies that this calendar is really applicable to the outside tasks. Then, if we do have a weather delay that affects the outside tasks, we'd go to this calendar and then we would add in that non-work day to the list of exceptions. So let's do this. First, we're going to create a new calendar. And like I said, we're going to name this calendar Outside Work, or Outside Calendar. And we want it to be a copy of the organizational calendar. And the reason for that is we've already gone through and inserted all of the holidays that affect this project. We don't want to do that again. We want to copy those to this outside calendar. So once I've got that set, I'm going to click OK. And now the calendar is created. We see the outside calendar. I've got the holidays down here. If I go back and look at the org calendar, they're the same. That's what we want. Now I'm going to click OK. We've created the calendar. So now next we have to assign the calendar to the tasks that it affects. A few ways for me to do this. I can click on each task individually, double click on it, go to the Advanced tab, and then on my calendar here, right now it's defaulted to none, which means the project calendar. I go down to this list here and I choose Outside Calendar and click OK. Once I do that, this little icon pops up in the indicator field, and if I mouse over that, it's going to say the calendar Outside Calendar is assigned to the task. So now I know that I've got a task calendar assigned to this task. So that's the long way to do it, clicking on each one. Another way to do it is I can highlight all the tasks affected. I can right click in that highlighted area, click on Information, go to the Advanced tab, go to the Calendar dropdown, and choose Outside Calendar. Click OK, and now all of my tasks have the Outside Calendar assigned. Third way, I can insert a field. The field is called Task Calendar, and I can do the same thing there. I can choose which calendar applies to the tasks, and right now you see that it's already set. So now, let's assume that on 8 December, we had a snow day that affected just the outside tasks. We still came to work, but nothing could get done outside. So Outside Calendar, I make sure that I'm choosing that one there. I click on 8 December, and now I can say Inclement Weather. And we see that it's set for 8 December, start and finish. And now let's see what our dates are. November 6th, January 9th for the inside work, November 6th, January 9th for the outside work. I go ahead and click OK. And now just the outside work slid to the right one day. Now it slid to 1/10/2018. Exactly what we wanted it to do. That weather delay impacted just the outside tasks. Now this is where things get a little complicated though. That's easy when we've got just the outside tasks being impacted, but now with this multiple calendar situation, what happens if we have a snow day that impacts the entire project? Just like we did in the first series of this two-part series. This is where it gets complicated. If I'm using resource names, just like I am here, the resource names, if I go to the resource sheet and I look at this, the resources, their calendar is being generated based off of the organizational calendar. The task that they're assigned to is being scheduled around the outside calendar. So we have a difference in calendars. Now, we may be able to change these crews here if they're only doing outside work to do that calendar there. So I can go back to resource sheet and I can choose, crew 3, put them as the outside calendar, and crew 4 as the outside calendar. And now things are going to be nice and clean. If I come over here, now either way, I've still got to do my delays. So I come back over here, I do my inclement weather on the project calendar for 11 December. I click OK. It impacted just these, so I have to do it for the other calendar as well. So now I've got 11 December for both calendars, and now everything slid over one day. So I've got to do it for both calendars. Just by the nature of how this is set up, I've got to do it for both calendars. Let's suppose that you're not using resource names. I've got a field in here that I like to use, which is assigned to. I don't like using the resource names field. So if I'm using this situation, and I get rid of these names here, and I get rid of this, same situation here. If I've got these things here, I'm using a custom text field for this. If I've got the weather delay that impacts the entire organization right now, and I've got that multi-calendar situation, I would go into one of the calendars first. Let's say December 18th is the non-work day now. Inclement weather. If I did just the one calendar, only the inside work is affected, because once again, this group of tasks here is not looking at the project calendar anymore. It's looking at the task calendar for the outside work. So once again, I'd come back to the outside work calendar. I can choose 18 December there and click OK. So when I've got that multi-calendar situation, I've got to go in and I've got to set it for both calendars as a non-work day. A little more complicated, but it keeps things nice and clean and organized. So, you've got two calendars you got to set the inclement weather day for. Just make sure that you remember when you do it, have that process down, that I'm doing it on both calendars. And really, like I said, that only applies when you've got outside work going on. If it's the entire organization, you don't have inside work and outside work, then you're in that situation where you've got one calendar, which are most of the projects that I work on are like that, where they're IT systems, and whether it's raining outside or not, or snowing outside, if we're all at work, everyone's there, there's no tasks being performed outside. So two different ways to handle this scenario here. Hopefully you got something out of this one here. So that's it. Now you know how to take weather delays and have them affect a subset of your tasks or have them affect the entire project. Thanks for tuning in.